Morning, church. This coming Sunday is Memorial Day weekend. I hope you have a safe and celebratory Memorial Day, remembering all those who went over there and didn't come back. If you come to church, you're going to hear a sermon about the Trinity. I'm going to save most of my thoughts for that because, to be honest, my mind, my heart is really filled with emotion and concern for what's happening next week. And I want to share some of that with you. I think it might be helpful. Next week is the meeting of the Minnesota Annual Conference of the United Methodist Church. Nice big title. To shorten it down, it is the legislative and authoritative grouping of Methodists in Minnesota. We're a global denomination. This is the Minnesota meeting of it. We decide on policy, the budget, all the good church stuff. You get a delegate from every local congregation, and all the clergy are required to attend. Your delegate is Steve Adams, serving faithfully, following the many-year tenure of Gloria Peck, who we give thanks for her service. And now we usher in Steve's time. This week, the annual conference has my mind kind of filled for a couple of reasons. In particular, what gets commented on the most is the Thursday worship service. So we meet Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. Thursday, long story, but my name got pulled at the last annual conference. My name was pulled out of a hat to give the sermon at that service. It's a big honor. When it's chance, I don't know how honorific it is, but you only get to do it once in your career, if you get to do it at all. And this is my year. It'll be the biggest attended service I've ever preached. And it will be to my colleagues in ministry and to the whole of the Minnesota United Methodist Church. And our own Jerry Rubino and our quartet is singing and leading in music and worship at this service. Great. It's so cool. I mean, I can't tell you how that is honoring. That is amazing. I'm so happy. But I'll be honest, all the emotion, the nerves of Thursday are swallowed up in what I feel for Wednesday night. Wednesday night is the life of ministry, celebration of life in ministry. It's really an empowering service where we license people for pastoral ministry, we ordain people, and the whole idea is to send out the leaders to feel like the Holy Spirit, to remind them that the Holy Spirit is with them in whatever they go out to do. Now, I'm already ordained. I have the highest title I'm ever going to get. Why would I find this to be the best? Well, there's a lot of traditions around it, but this one's different. You see, about 8 years ago, I started at this church, obviously not this church, but a church, and I had a confirmation class. It was my first year there. I didn't know the students. They didn't know me. I walk in and I say, hey, I don't know you, you don't know me, but what we're going to do for first day is we are going to have church and you're going to plan it. What's your name? Yeah. You're picking the hymns. What's your name? You're doing prayers. What's your name? She looks back at me. Allison. You're Pastor Allison. You're giving the sermon. That confirmation student, Allison, she graduated from seminary last week. She's being commissioned to serve at Vineyard United Methodist Church in Hutchinson, Minnesota. I can't tell you how proud I am. And she's asked me to be one of her sponsors to walk her up for the blessing. And I am reminded as I approach this annual conference of what fruit from labor, when you actually get to see fruit. I've had a lot of confirmation students. I've done a lot of weddings. I've done a lot of funerals. I haven't done the math of how many sermons I've preached. And you can't help but wonder, has it done any good? If you're a leader, and you are a leader in your family, in your friend group, at your work, have you ever wondered, is this worth it? The effort I'm putting in, the care I'm putting in? Because sometimes, and frequently, I believe that there is joy in the work itself. There is joy, whether or not my sermon is effective, there is joy in the craft of it. There is joy in being with people who are in their liminal moments of their lives, at their birth, at their baptisms, at their weddings, and at their funerals. To be bedside as someone is sick, there is value just being there, even if I don't know if I'm contributing. If you're a parent, how much of that time that you spend with your kids that you're hoping that it sinks in, but you don't know if it is? The question of fruit, is it going to work? Is it going to stick? Will they remember this? Will they honor this? When you volunteer at an organization, when you give money, my friends, there's joy in the participation, and you're hoping to see fruit. On the other side of this, when there is fruit, and maybe I'm just preaching to me, the rare moments that you really get fruit. I mean, how many good and faithful United Methodists have been fighting for the change to remove the discriminatory language of LGBTQI plus persons from our discipline? How many generations, how many people for 50 years we've been fighting and protesting and working towards change, and it happened now. Celebrate your wins. It is fuel for the fire. The fire in the belly can cool. This hopefully ignites it. Don't just look on to what's next, but enjoy the wins. Oh, man. How do you recognize when you've done something well? So frequently, the Midwestern thought is, don't put on airs. Don't get too proud of yourself. We don't want to brag. It's not bragging when you have done a hard thing or a rare thing and you're celebrating it. My friends, what do you have to celebrate? What graces have met you in your hour of need? Pray for me. Next week's huge. And I'll see you on Sunday. Blessings.